The text came in at 6:42 a.m., before the sun had fully climbed over the rooftops. You need to resign today. If you don't, HR will terminate you by end of day. It wasn't from my boss. It was from my wife's sister. I sat on the edge of the bed, phone trembling in my hand, listening to my wife breathe softly beside me. 13 years. 13 years of loyalty, late nights, missed holidays, and quiet sacrifices, reduced to a threat delivered like a favor. For a moment, I honestly thought it was a mistake. A wrong number. A cruel joke. But deep down, something cold already knew better. I worked at a family-run company. My wife's family. Her sister, Nadia, had joined a few years after me and climbed fast. Faster than anyone, including me. I told myself it was because she was sharp, ambitious. I told myself I didn't mind reporting to her. That's what love does. It teaches you how to swallow discomfort and call it maturity. Still, the signs had been there. Meetings I wasn't invited to anymore. Decisions made without my input. Missed calls from my wife that she explained away too quickly. Her phone always face down. Password changed. Laughter in the next room that stopped when I walked in. I blamed stress. I blamed myself. That morning when I showed my wife the message, her face didn't register shock. It registered fear. Let me talk to her, she said too quickly. Please. Don't go in angry. That was the first crack that really hurt. At the office, people avoided my eyes. HR wouldn't meet with me. My access to certain systems was already gone. 13 years and I was being erased quietly, efficiently. By noon, Nadia finally called me into her office. She didn't offer me a seat. This is what's best for everyone, she said, hands folded neatly, professional to the point of cruelty. You've become complicated. Complicated how? I asked. She hesitated. Just for a second. Then she said, You're too close. I laughed because it didn't make sense. I'm married to your sister. Her eyes flicked away. That's when I understood. The problem wasn't that I was too close. It was that I was in the way. That night, after my wife fell asleep, I did something I'd never done before. I picked up her phone. I wish I could say I found one devastating message and everything became clear. But betrayal is rarely that clean. It was a pattern. A thread. Weeks of late-night texts between her and Nadia. Deleted messages. Shared calendars. Conversations about how to handle him. Like I was a situation, not a husband. And then I saw it. A message from my wife sent 2 days earlier. If he's gone, things will finally be easier for us. I sat on the bathroom floor until my legs went numb. When I confronted her, she didn't deny it. That hurt almost as much as the truth itself. It wasn't supposed to be like this, she said, crying, hands shaking. Nadia convinced me it was temporary. That you'd land somewhere better. That we needed space. Space. I repeated. You helped them destroy my career. She looked at me like I was something already lost. What she never said, but didn't need to, was that she'd chosen her family, her comfort, and her future over me. And maybe she always had. I resigned the next day. Not because they told me to, but because I refused to let them fire me from my own dignity. Leaving that building felt like walking out of my own life. Every memory stung. Every success felt rewritten as a lie. At home, the silence between my wife and me grew heavier than any argument. Love doesn't always end with screaming. Sometimes it ends with quiet realization. 3 months later, I moved out. She asked if we could try again. I told her I didn't know how to love someone who could plan my erasure and still come home asking what's for dinner. I'm rebuilding now. Slowly. Painfully. But honestly. What I learned is this. Betrayal doesn't always come from strangers. Sometimes it comes from the people who know exactly where it will hurt most and choose to strike there anyway. And when that happens, walking away isn't weakness. It's survival.